this right here is the spawn room, and what I'm entering right now is the second room, which is where I'm going to be staying for the next 100 plus rounds. Okay, so the first thing that I would always do is restart for raindrops, just so I can speed through the first 2 rounds by nuking them. If you didn't know, there's a thing called round times. I'll put it up on the screen right now. It basically shows when the last zombie spawns in, and therefore letting you know when you can nuke out the round and end it really fast. Also, as you see, I'm hitting gun machine by spamming it, and the main reason is that so I can cycle through my guns the fastest, so I can get raindrops more, and therefore end the rounds the fastest, so I spend the least amount of time. So the main thing you want from the box is the Wonder Waff and 2 guns with AATs, preferably the Alcar with Deadwire, because it is a wall weapon in the second room, which pretty much means you can get to whatever round you want. You could probably get the 255 in this second room if you really wanted to, if you really wanted to spend the time. And the second weapon you want is an AR preferably, but you could get the KRM with fireworks if you wanted to, because that is also a wall weapon. It really depends on your preference. As you see, I have the Elcar with Deadwire and I have the HVK. That was my fireworks weapon for the entire game, and now I'm just hitting and hoping for the Wonder Waff. If you think you're gonna move the box, I recommend you don't hit it, because if you get fire sales, that can slow you down a lot. So I recommend you just trade out your crate power for raindrops and then just try to get crate power back. That way you don't get any fire sales and don't move the box. I gotta say though, getting the Waff was probably the hardest part about all this. I did manage to get it here, so I was hoping for a crate power. Luckily I managed to get it from the Gobble Gun machine, so I was so happy to get a setup finally. Here's the thing I have to say about the Waff though. On Derice World at War, oh my god, fuck. My highest round on Derice World at War so far is only 44. I also managed to get monkeys from the box. You don't need them, I'm gonna be honest. They're just kind of there. I mean, if you take it down, it's a restart anyway, so you don't have to worry about getting monkeys. The only way I guess it could really help you is if you're trying to pop a raindrops or outcome, you could throw a monkey bomb or something like that, but other than that, you don't need them. Okay, now for the strategy, there's not really a clear strategy that you can use for the entire game. Well, there is, I don't know, I kind of went all over the place. There's one thing I used where I was kind of in the outside area by the flogger. I had to keep that door closed, obviously, otherwise that would be cheating. And it felt like that was the fastest spawns I was getting, but also sitting right here, and this area kind of feels like it's the fastest, so I'm not really too sure. Of course, I really don't need to go through these early rounds. Here's basically in a nutshell. I pop my raindrops, I grab the death machine insta-kill, and once it reaches the last zombie spawn, then I just grab the nuke and end the round, and I can do that all the way up to round 40. Like I said, it's pretty much just you spamming your raindrops to round 40, or maybe even 50, but at about round 25-ish, you're gonna have to start waiting a little bit before you pop the raindrops, just so the nuke doesn't disappear before you grab it and end the round. So like you saw right there, I grabbed it, and then it basically should end round. Sometimes it felt like it wasn't. There was only like 1 zombie left half the time, because I don't know, I might not be playing the fastest. I wasn't really too sure. The second room is pretty slow, I'm gonna be quite honest, because there is a bunch of spawns in the first room and the room above there, which I'm not even sure if you can go in. Now past round 40-ish, you're no longer gonna be able to end a round with a nuke, so I recommend that you train in the area just before the entrance to the flogger. And obviously you have to keep that door closed because it is a second room challenge. For this strategy, all you're going to be doing is using your Waff and AATs to get through the rounds, and if you can use Deadwire when you see a bunch of zombies, you should, since it will save you quite a bit of Waff ammo. But if you want to play for speed, then you can just spam the crap out of the Waff to about round 62 to 64-ish. After that though, you're most likely going to need an Alchem or raindrops to finish the round, because getting trapped in this area is pretty common. I mean, there's 4 different areas the zombies can come from. They can come from down the stairs, they can come from the window to your right, they can come from the area in front of you, and the area to the top right. It's pretty hectic in this area, and it is still pretty fast. But if you want to train in here for the entire game, you could. It's pretty difficult if you're just going to be using AATs. Once I made it to round 66, then I started doing the high round strategy, which is extremely easy. You're just training in the back here, and the zombie spawns are still relatively fast, but way easier to control. All you're using is Deadwire and your fireworks. You don't even have to use your Waff, to be quite honest with you. It's just there in case you get trapped. But if you want to use it, you can use it for speed, of course. and all you're doing is just waiting for a bunch of zombies to spawn, and then you want to run up against this wall and then train them. If you get hit, it's alright because you're gonna have Widow's Wine, and all you have to do is use Dead Wire. It's ridiculous. I will say though, if you do get an L-Chem or raindrops and you're running low on WAF ammo, I recommend you go back to that original strategy because that is the fastest place on the map to be. It might only speed up the round by a couple minutes, but it's better than nothing, of course. Once I made it to round 70 plus, this is where I started to get a little stressed out because I was only 8 rounds away from getting a joint world record with the current world record holder, and I was 9 rounds away from beating it. And it would, you know, I actually almost hold all the second room challenge world records for BO3, which is kind of funny. The only ones I need to get right now is Classic Gobblegum Shinonuma and Mega Gobblegum Shadows, and I hold all of them, which is hilarious. That being said, the second room challenge is literally just an off-brand version of the first room challenge, so therefore it doesn't count as an actual world record towards your profile, but it would still be cool if I held all of them. Surprisingly, the rounds in the 70s and even 80s don't even take that long to do. If you don't know that timer, just below the big timer right there, the timer on the top is my total time that I spent in the game, which is 3 hours 24 minutes for only round 76, which is kind of insane. And the timer on the bottom is how long I've been on the round. So as you see, it's only 20 seconds, obviously, because I just progressed through this round. And the rounds were only taking me about 8 minutes to do in the 70s, which isn't even that slow. Compared to something like Noct, of course. As you see, finally 3 hours 50 minutes in, I got a joint world record, but I wanted to progress a lot more rounds. Just because I don't usually like tying with people for first. Obviously, if I go for 255 on a map, it's unavoidable. There's like probably 10 plus people that have gone 255 on every map, except for the World at War Masters. And someone actually tied with me for first, if you notice, when I showed the Classic Gobblegum Baruch world record. Someone tied with me for round 23, so I might go back and redo that, try to get around 25 or something. Because I don't usually like tying with people. I say usually, but honestly, I never like seeing more than one person in first. If it's me in first, then someone ties with me, I'm probably gonna try and break that record. So yeah, I'm probably gonna try and beat the Classic world record for second room. And honestly, it's kind of cool to see people trying to beat records like this, because it isn't very popular. It's under the community leaderboards if you want to go check out the records, but it's not that interesting. I have the videos as unlisted because obviously, who would want to see 4-hour recording of me, the back room of the MP40 room, just spamming the WAF and AATs. Okay, so using this strategy, I was able to break the world record, not by just 1 round, not by 2, not even by 10, not by 20, by 31 rounds. Like, oh my gosh, no one's, I mean, unless you really want to spend like 9 hours. I'm still saying 255 is definitely possible in this second room. It's just like, it would probably take like 90 hours, and I do not have that kind of time right now. I'm trying to make videos for you guys. Maybe if I was live streaming it, just maybe I would have gone for 255 in the second room, but I'm not gonna start live streaming until I get 1,000 subscribers, of course. So you know, I'm not even gonna say subscribe. I don't like saying that. Right here is an example of why you would probably want to get the KRM pack punch with fireworks instead of a random gun from mystery box, because at least with the KRM you have a wall buy for it. It might not be good with fireworks, but at least you have a wall buy. For any other gun from the mystery box, you have to open up doors, which obviously you can't do in the second room challenge. On round 98, I started doing a different strategy where you kind of sit in the back here. It's definitely faster than the Deadwire strategy. Deadwire strategy you only use if you're struggling with ammo in your WAF and you don't have an ammo gun coming up. This strategy right here, it's definitely safer than the Flogger strat, and also is pretty fast as well. So as you see, finally after 14 minutes of being in this round, I made it to round 100. The crazy part is that on round 99, I didn't get an ammo gun like I expected, so I had to just do Deadwire training that entire time, and I had to make sure I didn't get trapped at all and use all my WAF ammo. And I forgot to mention, there's not really a specific place you should stand when you have a dog round. I just stood here most of the time. Dog rounds are pretty slow because they can spawn on the second level, so it's slow, but at least you get a max ammo. From round 105 plus the round started taking 13 plus minutes. It's mostly because there's 1,000 plus zombies on round 105, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, you can only imagine. What I find interesting is that to do 10 rounds, just 10, it took me another 2 hours. So obviously, I did this over the span of 2 days. I did 7 hours in the first day and then 2 hours in the last day. There's no way I was doing 9 hours in one day. No way, I'm not doing that to myself. Except for Dries World at War. But that was a world record, and it's still uploading. I have been uploading this for probably like 30 plus hours. It still hasn't uploaded. It's such a long recording. Also, can we just take a moment to appreciate how cursed Shi No Numa is when you don't open up any doors? Anyways, montage time.